It's straight.
Huh?
Keep your head straight.
Okay. Hi everybody, I'm Kurt from LiftHard.com and this is Lester from the traininggig.net, right?
Yeah, .net.
And we are currently in Australia, in Perth, Western Australia. Had a great time in two boxes. One was PTC Perth and the other one was
The CrossFit Chamber.
CrossFit Chamber. We had a pretty good crowd on both days and had a lot of fun. Of course, shared a lot of information as well. And one of the very interesting topics that has been resurfacing over and over again is regarding the knee alignment. We are aware that there are some schools of thoughts that believe in a pushed out position, and we are more of a neutral in-ish position. You want to show you what we're talking about?
So pushed out, right? And neutral.
So there's been a lot of talk about this whole thing, and once again, we're here to share information. We're not trying to make dogmatic statements. So what we want to do today is we want to show you what we see and what we've experienced through our training, through our coaching, and through speaking to other people as well. Okay, we're going to let Lester do the biomechanical explanations for these things, and I'll simplify it for those people that have a hard time trying to grasp the concept.
Alright, so in weightlifting, when we receive a weight, most of the time we actually move our feet out. So we try to achieve a slightly wider position, okay, so that we have a better base of support. Right? We have a weight overhead. When we try to receive it, the goal of the receiving position, so if you demonstrate, right, from the side.
Oh.
Right, so from the side, okay, we want to achieve alignment where everything is in line, still within that base of support. So if you look, if he has a weight on his hands, his shoulders, his trunk, his hips all need to kind of fall in within the base of support of his feet. Okay, so with that concept in mind, right, the narrower it is, okay, the harder it is. The smaller space you have to fit everything, stack everything on top of each other. Okay, so how does this translate to knee position or hip position or hip movement, right? When he is at the bottom of a squat, right, with his feet normally receive wider than his hips, so shoot your feet out, right? Okay, to be able to have a solid vertical trunk, okay, as in the snatch, right, he needs to make sure that his knees are in a natural position. Okay, think of it like a spring. Okay, if your spring is aligned diagonally, so this, when you start to shift and move that spring down, what's going to happen is it's going to shift into the side a little, but still within the comforts of the spring for it to be effective. Okay, because of that, when that happens and you give the cue of let's push your knees up. Okay? Push your knees up. Right? When he tries to push his knees up, take note, both of us are not very mobile guys. So we're talking about the general population who don't have much mobility. Right? You push your knees up, what happens is you sit your hips back. So looking at the side, this is a receiving position that has everything stacked in line. If you see most of the weightlifting videos, photos, this is the position you're going to see commonly. Alright? When you get your knees pushed up, okay, the hips start to tilt back, or the pelvis starts to tilt back, losing tension in the trunk, not being able to hold that weight in line, putting a lot of pressure on the shoulders and the back to support that weight in that receiving position. Okay? More importantly, what we want to highlight is by keeping that back straight, okay, to give you trunk stability, right, your knees actually have a internal rotation through the hip, right? They show an internal rotation through the hip. Okay? So if we look at it from a knee perspective, so let's turn over there. Okay? Having his back as solid as possible. See how his knees are actually slightly rotated in. Okay? this will actually allow him to receive that weight more comfortably, and from there be able to push that weight up. Huh? That's my explanation from the biomechanical sense.
Okay. Now, if you think about it, right, if you were to have your feet like this, okay, small base of support, it's very hard to receive a bar. It's like, oh boy, I'm gonna fall over. Okay, so you widen it. Okay, now, you push these knees out, it's gonna be like, see how it goes backward? It's backward like that. And your back goes like this. However, if you don't worry so much about this, you just go, bum, receive, whoop, see? You do what you want to do. Okay? It's pretty simple, really. If you feel comfortable doing this, perhaps that's what you should do. If you feel really good doing this, you feel a lot more stable, if you have the flexibility and the ability to really get through like that, and push these out, by all means, go ahead. However, like I said, we want to coach normal people to be able to do certain weightlifting movements well enough. So, we don't want to be dogmatic, we just want to give you options. We were speaking to a couple of physiotherapists, and one of them, she said that she's having a very, very hard time grasping the concept or accepting the idea of not pushing the knees out, but she couldn't hit positions properly. The moment we said, don't worry so much about your knees, just let them go, release them, boom, they went in. She sat down there so comfortably, and when she stood up, she went up like, boom, like that. So she managed to lift better, she got the weight up, and she felt more comfortable. So to us, that's our job done.
Exactly that. Alright. I think the important thing we want to highlight as well is if we worry too much about where the knees go, what we're doing, so on and so forth, okay, then we forget the important element of any squatting movement or any receiving position. That's keeping trunk stability, holding this tight. If this is not tight, then no matter what happens with your knees, you're not going to be able to support that weight.
Simple. Hopefully that answers some questions. If you do have any comments, ask. Don't be too harsh on us. We're trying to share information. We're not trying to say that you're right or wrong. Okay?
Alright, we want to just do a shout out to CrossFit Fiber, okay, for allowing us to use their space to do this video. CrossFit Chamber for having us on our first location. Alright, PTC Perth. Okay, our last stop in our Western Australian tour is actually CrossFit Frantic. So there are a few more spots available. Alright, if you are looking forward to a time of lifting and learning, okay, make sure you get on it.
Okay, cheers people, take care, my lovely friends and enemies. I'm gonna cut that part out.